Okay, well, that was amazing. How's the future looking now? Well, I saw something remotely green for a second there, so we're on the right track. Alright then, now it's Sonic 3 and Knuckles, right? Sending it over now. Oh yeah, I've been meaning to ask you, how the hell are you aware of the changes in the future? Shouldn't you be changed with the future as well? I'm not entirely sure. All I know is that some dude wearing a red jacket told me to fix the future this way, so I did. I trust it. Anyway, let's move on to Phase 3. So, you just gonna stand there, or are you gonna continue saving the timeline? Oh shit, yeah! Hey, isn't this supposed to be like the best of the classic games? Well, I'm about to explain, dipshit, if you are patient. Wow, I was mean earlier this year. What did we say, you robo-nerd? Hey, that's really mean! Sonic 3 and Knuckles! This one is interesting because it isn't like the other games in regards to my opinions on it. Like, I thought Sonic 1 was but lacked commitment to the concept. I thought Sonic 2 was fantastic and was a welcome addition to the series, but Sonic 3 and Knuckles is different. Its highs are great, but its lows are terrible. I wouldn't be one to say it's the best of the classic games, but it certainly is up there. In development, Sonic 3 was turning out to be one ambitious project. STI, you know, the dudes who made Sonic 2, split into two teams after Sonic 2's release. One half worked on Sonic 3, the other half worked on Sonic Spinball. Those poor bastards. The team making Sonic 3 is pretty much just the Japanese dudes who joined STI prior to Sonic 2, while the Americans worked on Sadness Incarnate. Sonic 3 was actually meant to have graphics similar to Sonic 3D Blast, with the project simply being called Sonic 3D. However, they didn't have time because Sega had a contract with, hang on, let me see here. Yeah, McDonald's. So you can thank the clown for ensuring Sonic 3 wasn't whatever the fuck Sonic 3D Blast ended up as. One of the most well-known elements of Sonic 3's development was the project being split in half. There wasn't time to finish the whole project in time for Mr. Burger's Diabetic Emporium, so Sonic 3 was released as half of a game, while Sonic and Knuckles would be created and would utilize lock-on technology. Basically, it had a cartridge slot on the cartridge where Sonic 3 would be placed to complete the experience, with the added Knuckles cartridge also having functionality with other Sonic games. Connecting it to Sonic 2 would allow you to place Knuckles in Sonic 2, and any of the other Sonic games would just give you booster stages. This is lame. Another well-known piece of information about Sonic 3's development was the involvement of Michael Jackson. He apparently worked on the game's soundtrack and went uncredited. The reasons for this aren't exactly concrete. Some say he disliked how the Genesis made his music sound, and so decided to be uncredited. And others say he had a fondness for a younger demographic, and Sega didn't want to be seen associating with him. The game would later be re-released on PC with Jackson's tracks replaced by original songs. The music is also often speculated to be the reason why Sonic 3 and Knuckles wasn't re-released much after Jackson's death in 2009, due to legal issues with Jackson's estate, but none of that is confirmed. Sonic 3 was an insane success, with both releases making $4 million combined, and it's not hard to see why. Sonic 3 and Knuckles introduced so many new features to the franchise, most of which would become staples of future games, or would come back in Mania. Like, I'm pretty sure Mania would bring back Jesus Christ if it had the chance. Sonic 3 and Knuckles is often referred to as the greatest of the classic games by many fans, which is true to an extent. Like, it is a very well-designed game, but I wouldn't put it as the best of the classics, which I'll explain more as I go. Personally, Sonic 3 was always a funny one to me. I first played it with Sonic 3 Complete and thought it was just okay. It had some cool ideas, but the bad parts kind of ruined it for me. I played it again on the Steam release and had the same response. Only when I played Sonic 3 Angel Island Revisited did my opinion change a little. I think this game is actually really fun, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, but it had some snags that just trip me up whenever I play it. Sonic 3 is the first of the classic games to have an actually defined plot that remains present throughout. No, you don't count! Sonic 3 had transitions between every act and zone, allowing the developers to show off an actual plot that drives the game forward. After Sonic 2, the Death Egg falls and lands on Angel Island, just another normal island that definitely doesn't have anything special about it at all. Sonic and Tails arrive to investigate it, with Sonic flexing that he's all 7 Chaos Emeralds, but flies in as Supersonic. It's then that Sonic is attacked by this new guy, Knuckles the Echidna, who knocks the Chaos Emeralds out of Sonic and nicks them, the bastard! Knuckles is the last of his people, the Echidna, and holds the role as the protector of Angel Island and the Master Emerald, the Chaos Emerald's older brother. Eggman managed to trick Knuckles into believing that Sonic and Tails were the bad guys, and the evil scientist was the good guy all along, creating an allegiance with the Echidna. Now, Sonic and Tails adventure around Angel Island, recollecting the Chaos Emeralds and trying to stop Eggman from relaunching the Death Egg, all the while Knuckles attempts to slow them in their path. This game has far more detailed plot than other games already, and that's just the beginning. Sonic 3 introduces two major features that make the experience much easier, that being save files and the ability to play as multiple different characters with ease. Save files meant that now you can pick up right where you left off, rather than having to play through the whole game in one go. With the game as expansive as Sonic 3, this is kinda necessary. You can also play as other characters with ease. I mean, you could play as Tails in Sonic 2, but you kinda have to go out of your way to do it. In Sonic 3, you just pick your character outright when making a save file. Now in Sonic 3 alone, you could only play as Sonic, Tails, or Sonic and Tails. In Sonic and Knuckles, you can only play as Sonic or Knuckles. In the complete version, you can play as all of them though. Additionally, save files are only in Sonic 3, or in the complete game. Sonic and Knuckles has no save files. Honestly, I feel sorry for the poor bastards which only has Sonic and Knuckles. Each character has their own abilities and features that are unique to them. Sonic plays just as you'd expect him to, but now has what's called the Insta Shield. Just press jump button in there, and Sonic will do this little attack thing. This move is useful for when you want to kill enemies that are armored, or to get some extra range. This also changes depending on what shield you have equipped. Tails is very similar to Sonic, but a bit slower and can fly by pressing the jump button in there. Knuckles is the most interesting, with him being slower than both the others, and having a very nerfed jump. But he can glide by holding the jump button in midair, and can climb and break walls. Knuckles also acts as a sequel story, but I'll get to that later. There are now more shield variants as well, that also give Sonic some new moves, as mentioned before. The Fire Shield grants immunity to fire and lava, and also allows Sonic to do this Fireball dash move. The Bubble Shield grants the player infinite air while underwater, and also allows Sonic to bounce. Finally, the Lightning Shield will attract all rings nearby towards you, and give Sonic a double jump. These shields actually make you think before you pick them up, like maybe I should take the Fire Shield, or should I take the Bubble Shield, like is there water nearby, is there fire nearby, it's interesting. You also lose the Fire and Lightning Shields when you enter water, with Lightning Shield creating this shockwave that can kill enemies. The zone selection in this game is also quite good. In the first half, you got Angel Island, Hydrocity / Hydrocity, ice caps, really stellar zones. There's also a few meh zones like Marble Garden and Launch Base, although Launch Base makes up for it with the Death Egg in the background and the boss fight at the end. In the total package, there's only 2 zones I dislike, but I really don't like these. Carnival Night and Sandopolis. These zones are about as much fun as getting your foot crushed by a cinder block. Both of these zones are terrible and really dragged on the experience for me. Overall though, the zones are pretty good. Even the Sky Sanctuary in the second half, a single act zone with 3 boss fights, is awesome. It has recreations of boss fights from Sonic 1 and 2. That's so cute! Special stages in Sonic 3 Knuckles are also quite good. Instead of needing a certain amount of rings for the special stages like the first 2 games, Sonic 3 Knuckles has giant rings hidden all throughout the game. Every zone, bar the 2 single act zones at the end and Death Egg Zone, have several of these rings hidden in different spots. Entering one will bring you into a special stage. In these stages, referred to as blue spheres, your objective is to collect all the blue spheres in the stage while avoiding the red ones. Red spheres will kick you out of the stage, while when you step on a blue sphere, it will become a red sphere. You can also collect rings, mostly by surrounding a mass of blue spheres or red ones, turning all the spheres in that pocket into rings. Once you get all the blue spheres, you receive a Chaos Emerald. Getting all the rings will let you 50,000 score. What's the point in this? I used to hate these stages when I played them in Mania, but they've really grown on me. Good thing too, because you have to do these a lot. This game is basically 14 emeralds you need to collect. If you get all the Chaos Emeralds for the end of Launch Base Zone, you begin to collect the Super Emeralds. Entering a special stage with all the emeralds starting in Mushroom Hill, you'll enter this area that ends up being a hidden palace later in the game, and the Chaos Emeralds will become bigger and darker. Standing on one of these will bring you into a special stage, allowing you to get a Super Emerald. These are neat because you can collect them in any order you want, just stand on the emerald you want to get. Collecting all the Chaos Emeralds gives you access to Supersonic, but collecting those Super Emeralds will transform into Hypersonic. Hypersonic is like Supersonic, but he's more likely to give you a seizure. You also gain the Hyper Flash, replacing the Insta Shields, which goes all enemies nearby and launches you in whatever direction you want. Tails and Knuckles also get special forms if you play as them. Knuckles has a typical super form, which allows him to move faster, and a hyper form that lets him cause earthquakes and breathe underwater. Tails, however, only has a super form for some reason, available with the Super Emeralds. Tails gets a group of super transformed Feckies that follow him around and kill enemies for him, which is pretty cute. According to Takashi Iizuka, the Super Emeralds were added because of the game being split in half. There are more opportunities to get all the emeralds in total because they had to be reasonably obtainable in both halves on their own, so to compensate, a second set of emeralds were introduced. They never returned, however, as the team disliked the idea of multi-tier power level stuff. Since then, the Chaos Emeralds were made to have the design of the Super Emeralds with the size of the Chaos Emeralds, solidifying the permanent absence of the Super Emeralds. It's a shame, but it kinda makes sense, since having one set of emeralds is easier to understand. Sonic and Knuckles set of zones are also incredible. Aside from the war crime that is Sandopolis, the staff is all wins. Mushroom Hill, Flying Battery, Lava Reef, Sky Sanctuary, all amazing zones. Fun fact, Flying Battery was actually meant to come before Ice Cap, with Sonic using the door of the blimp as a snowboard. The context of the snowboard alone is enough to make you want the zone placement, but I think putting Flying Battery in the second half made more sense for each as a standalone experience. Another fact I forgot to mention was how each act has a boss fight. A sort of mini boss in Act 1 and a proper boss in Act 2. While this is neat, I'm not too big on it. I don't mind it, but I'm also not all over it. I just generally think the boss fights in this game aren't super memorable and leave a lot to be desired. The best boss fights in this game come near the end. You know, the Big Arms boss is a great way to end the first half of the game, although it isn't available as Sonic if you play the full game. Other great boss fights are the ones in Sky Sanctuary and the final boss of the whole game. The music of this game is very interesting. While Sonic 1 and 2's themes feel right at home in the Genesis, it really feels like Sonic 3 and Knuckles is pushing the limits. Flying Battery's themes are good, but but feel fully realized in Sonic Mania, where they can have room to breathe. Save for Sky Sanctuary and the Big Arms theme. Both are great here, but feel restricted. In generations where these themes are remastered, their true form can be seen. Additionally, there are a lot more themes in this game. This is primarily because each act now has its own theme, except for Carnival Night. You cannot convince me these tracks are different. For every other zone, themes are very similar to each other, since acts don't really tend to change much, but they still work as slightly different takes on the same track. Sonic 3 Knuckles also has some really memorable moments that show how far they're pushing the hardware. Angel Island Zone goes from a nice run through a jungle to get the water, nigga! Jesus Christ! Lord have mercy! Or that moment in the Lava Reef Act 1 boss fight, when you see the death egg in the background and the little eyes light up, and then she gets real. Well, not every zone is like this. There are enough of these moments throughout the game to show the developers were really trying to push how Sonic 3 Knuckles is a more epic story. Moments like these build hype and excitement. A moment of, oh fuck, this is happening! After Sonic and Tails stop the death egg from launching in launch base, it crashes into a volcano, aka Lava Reef. Once the duo make their way to Lava Reef, they finally catch up with Knuckles in Hidden Palace Zone, prompting a battle. On the wall behind them, we actually see a mural that depicts a large something or other, wielding the Master Emerald, fighting a glowing hedgehog-looking thing. This hints the idea that perhaps the final battle of this game was prophesized with ancient echidnas all those years ago. Once we beat the shit out of Knuckles, Eggman appears, and the gang follow him to where the Super Emeralds were, which contextualizes them. It's cool because it even keeps track of the emeralds you collected, it's great! Eggman takes the Master Emerald and fucking murders Knuckles, Jesus Christ! This shows Knuckles that maybe he picked the wrong side, and so decides to help Sonic and Tails get to the now launching Death Egg. Heading to Sky Sanctuary Zone, we fight through some badniks, as well as some throwback bosses, making this game really feel like the true climax of the classic games. Sonic and Tails barely make it out the collapsing Sky Sanctuary onto the Death Egg, bringing us to Death Egg Zone. After defeating Eggman's new mech powered by the Master Emerald, we begin the true final battle. Doomsday Zone. As long as you have at least the 7 Chaos Emeralds, you can take part of the zone, although having all the Super Emeralds will have you play as Hypersonic rather than Supersonic. Only playable as Sonic, Doomsday Zone was the first of the Supersonic final bosses that become a staple of Sonic games from then on. Flying through space, avoiding meteors, and gathering rings, you have to take down 2 Eggman robots. One fires rockets at you they have to guide back to destroy it, while the other you just have to hit it. You do have to keep an eye on your rings, because if you run out, you die. While not very hard, this is still a very climactic way to end the game, and it is very exciting. It started a tradition that was in every main Sonic game from then on. Until it wasn't. After defeating Eggman properly, Sonic collects the Master Emerald, and him and Tails return back to Angel Island. As they fly away, it begins to fucking float, what the hell? Turns out Angel Island is a floating island, and when the Death Egg crashed into it, it forced the island down to the water. This revealed what remained as the biggest plot twist in Sonic history until 2020 when everyone was surprised by the fact the Sonic movie was actually good. You might think we're done, but we're not. As I said earlier, if you play as Knuckles, the story acts as a sequel to Sonic and Tails' plot. In this story, a badnik arrives to try and kill Knuckles again, but fails. Fucking hell. From there, Knuckles chases the fucker around the island, replaying the same zones in the same order as Sonic and Tails, just different layouts. Knuckles finally chases the bastard back to Sky Sanctuary, where he faces off against a Mecha Sonic, and a robotic Sonic that Sonic and Tails defeated on the way to Sky Sanctuary. Now, he's back, and after he's beaten, he'll use the power of the Master Emerald to have his own super form, which Knuckles of course defeats. As Sky Sanctuary begins to crumble, Sonic arrives in the tornado to rescue Knuckles and return to the island. Knuckles stages, as I mentioned, have different layouts to accommodate his playstyle. While not terrible, these stages aren't nearly as fun as the base versions, and he doesn't have his Death Egg Zone. Mecha Sonic is a bit of an oddity though. When you fight him, he's just an enhanced version of
Robo Bitch
from Sonic 2. A while ago, there was a debate online as to whether Metal Sonic from Sonic CD was cooler than Mecha Sonic. Personally, it's no contest, because Mecha Sonic sucks. I love his design, and he's a fun fight, but he only appears briefly in both plots. At least Metal Sonic had an actual presence in CD. Mecha Sonic is barely here. It sucks too, because he would have been a great use for Knuckles' story. Rather than some random egg robo, why not use Mecha Sonic all throughout the game? It would have been more interesting, and it would solidify him as a great rival to Knuckles. We also never really saw Mecha Sonic again outside of the comics, with his design probably being an inspiration for Neo Metal Sonic and Sonic Heroes. Overall, Sonic 3 Knuckles was a really good game. From a story standpoint, it definitely was the best in the classic games. However, I feel like the gameplay isn't as fun as Sonic 2. I don't know, maybe it's just how the zones are organized, maybe it's the sprites since I'm not a massive fan of the Sonic 3 sprites, but I just find myself wanting to go back to Sonic 2 far more than Sonic 3. It's a fantastic game, but a few crap zones and mediocre boss fights cannot break it down for me. The music and zones overall are so fantastic, some of my favorites in the series. This game is definitely one I'd recommend to any fan of the classic 2D Sonics, and I totally see why some see it as the best of the classics. I'm just not of that exact opinion. Well, we did it. Finally finished reviewing all the classic Sonic games. Your future should be safe now. You didn't do all of them. What do you mean? I did all 4. Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, and Sonic & Knuckles. Well, those last 2 are kind of considered one game. So then what's left? Dude, you mentioned Sonic CD multiple times in this segment of the review alone. I have bad memory! What's that? Oh no. Wait, I don't have a Sega CD.
I just can't do it. I can't take this shit no more, man.